Welcome back to Bully Ball, a San Francisco 49er podcast. Today's the big day. Super wild card weekend, San Francisco 49ers versus the Seattle Seahawks in Santa Clara. The home field advantage ain't looking like much of a home field advantage right now as we have a rainy day out in Santa Clara. We have our dad and mom boots on the ground at the game. So we're going to bring them on in a little bit, give you guys a picture of the stadium, what it's looking like, what the weather's looking like. If you go look at our YouTube shorts, we've posted about 10 shorts from pregame. If you want to see the players warming up, how the field's looking, the rain, stuff like that, check those out. But yeah, 49er fans flocking to the stadium, it looks like. The weather's not keeping them away. How you feeling about this game so far?
Yeah, I'm always a little bit nervous for these playoff games because, one loss and the season's over, and for a good, 6, 8 months until we get some actual field time back on. So, I'm nervous, hoping for a good game. The weather, like you said, is kind of concerning, but hopefully our boys can get over that and just play a strong 60 minutes of football.
Yeah, tell the folks what you're wearing for game day.
So I got the bully ball sweatshirt on, my famous hat that I always wear, and then on the underneath got the Run CMC shirt on. So,
We love to see it.
yep, got the
I'm
merch,
rocking.
channel merch.
Yep. I'm rocking our grandpa's old 49er hat. Let's see, what brand is this? Leader of Generation Apparel. So I don't even know what that is or when it's from. A nice hat. And then I'm wearing his old 49er shirt. I don't know the logo. So let me know if you know what brand this is. It's P with like a lightning bolt through it. But, got the retro fit on for the 49er versus Seahawks game. So, we're going to try to get our dad to come on now, give a little showing of what the field looks like. But while we're waiting on that, talk to the folks a little bit about the game, what you're looking for and what's worrying you about this game.
Yeah, obviously, like we said, the weather's a little bit worrisome. When it's really rainy and wet, it just takes away from the level of football being played, which is unfortunate. You don't want to see that in a game like this. Little bit concerned just because the rainfall is obviously going to affect the passing of the ball. And our weapons, I feel like, are receiving weapons. Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, McCaffrey's obviously good on running the ball and receiving, but that threat of the receiving might not be as heavy. If we're going to be focusing on the ground game a lot. So, um, a little worrisome, but hopefully our boys can, lock it in. I'm sure Kyle Shannon has a great game plan for us, and yeah, hopefully we can just come out hot, like we said in our previous video with our keys to victory. Got to come out hot and just finish. You got to finish. Can't come out slow, uh, and just put these boys away early. Especially if the weather is going to be nicer in the first half, first three quarters. You got to get out to a good lead, put them away early, and then, kind of coast towards the end, hopefully when it's raining a little bit heavier.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that Bears game. You start
Yeah.
off slow, you're kind of battling with them, and then they take a lead, and then it starts coming down, and at that point, you can't do anything about it to get back in the game. So you cannot allow that to happen today. All right, we got our dad on here. We're going to bring him on. Hopefully, it's not too choppy like last time to give you guys an on field view of what's going on. What up? You're
You're
muted.
muted.
You're muted.
You hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
How you guys doing?
good. How
Doing
how is it
good.
out there?
It's raining right now. Show you the field in the background. It's starting to rain, but the fans are coming out strong. Fans, but the fan shoulders all look good. The field didn't look too bad. So with the rain starting now, we got about 60 minutes until game time. Field's going to be a little swishy, but it wasn't bad since it was covered all night.
Yeah.
So if you didn't hear him, he said the field's not too bad. You know, they had it covered all night. Fans are coming out. And, you know, the rain picked up a little bit. Show you the background right there. It looks a little cloudy out there. Show the people what gear you have on for the game. Let's see the gear.
I just have my old school jersey on. I have my bully ball flag hanging out on the truck in the street. And then, you know, just the guys that I always rock with out here, they always take care of us. So we travel with them. You know, they're supporters of bully ball as well.
Yep, you love to see it. So show us a field view out there. So it don't look too bad to me. Let us know what you guys think, how the field's looking right now out there. You know, not too bad. So let's hop into these inactives for the game. So I have the 49ers inactives for the game up right here, and it looks like we have Jimmy Garoppolo, Tyrion Davis-Price, Nick Zakelj, Ross Dwelly, Tevin Coleman, Drake Jackson, and Ambry Thomas. Anybody, you know, really concerning or anything there to you?
Not really. You know, it's kind of interesting that we're only running with 3 running backs, especially with the, you know, field being wet, raining. Probably going to run the ball a lot more in this game than you would in other games. So it's kind of weird that we're only running 3, you know, with CMC, of course, not Jeff Wilson, Elijah Mitchell, and JP Mason. So that's kind of weird, kind of not concerning, just weird, you know, because you elevated Tevin Coleman the day prior from the practice squad, and then he's not playing in this game at all. So kind of odd, but besides that, nothing too crazy. You know, Drake Jackson, another healthy scratch. So it looks like we're probably trying to get some interior depth rather than the edge depth. So
yeah, and I was seeing
seems
that
like a
they
pattern.
elevated, you know, the guys because you get an extra check without it counting against a salary cap. So they'll elevate people every week, and they probably did it because, you know, he's a vet. You want the vet to get paid some extra money. Janoris Jenkins also was activated this week for the game, and he is up. So if we see Demo Lenore struggle a little bit, you might see Janoris Jackrabbit Jenkins in the game a little bit. We got the Seahawks inactives today. Right guard Phil Haynes, not sure if he's the starter or not. Wide receiver Penny Hart, cornerback Artie Burns, cornerback Xavier Crawford, outside linebacker Joshua Anujui, linebacker V Jones, and running back Tony Jones Jr. So none of their key starters look to be out this week. Maybe that right guard, I'm not sure if he's their starter, but you know, anything of note there to you? Nothing really to me stands out as like, looks like the Seahawks are pretty much at full strength in this game, just like the 49ers.
Yeah, I agree. So that means, you know, Big Al Woods, I don't know if he plays nose tackle or D tackle, but he's going to be active. You know, he usually has great games against the 49ers, which is unfortunate, especially if we're going to be running the ball. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the middle. And then Poona Ford, I think, was on the injury list a little bit before, and Shelby Harris. So they have multiple of their interior guys back up and healthy, which I think Al Woods and Shelby Harris missed the Week 15 game against the 49ers. So they're going to be healthy. So we'll see how much that affects the game plan and how much those two guys can change the 49ers game plan with running the ball. So we'll see how that goes.
You know, one of the things I was thinking, I think this game, if the field gets bad, it's gonna go down to who has the deeper teams. You know, who's stacked in the position, who has more running backs that can get the job done. You know, we might be able to take out the receivers and not have to worry about the corner on deep passes if the field gets real clunky. You know, if we start losing big passes, it might come down to the running game, and we're pretty loaded.
Yep.
Definitely.
We got Paul Gators here saying, "Let's go Niners faithful, bang bang Niner gang." Yes, sir. Let's go. Here's your on-field view. Our dad is at the game today. He said the weather, you know, rain's coming and going. Field looks to be in good shape. So, you know, 49ers need to get out, take that lead early. And then, you know, once the rain starts coming down, the game should be a wrap. So,
Dad,
yeah, you go ahead.
from the previous games that you've attended, what's the fan turnout looking like? You know, compared to previous games that you've been to, is this the same amount, less amount? What would you say?
Well, you know, we were starting to get pretty heavy last time, you know, when people started getting ready for playoff football. The fans in the parking lot were ready for it. Even though the weather was bad, they're ready. A lot of them are still working their way in because they were under their tent. So you could tell this game's going to be very loud. Everybody's ready thinking this is our year to go. So
So
everybody's
that's good.
very excited.
That's great to hear. You know, 49ers need to take full advantage of that home field advantage. You know, you got the number 2 seed for a reason. Now take advantage of it. Hopefully all the fans show out no matter the weather. Because we kind of said it on Twitter, you know, at SF Bully Ball, check out our Twitter. We put out a tweet, you know, if we weren't in Europe, we would definitely be at that game no matter the weather. So I hope a lot of fans are out there and are loud, because the Niners could definitely use all the help they can need, all the help they can get.
Yeah, and this is probably the cheapest 49er playoff game in a very long time. You know, you could get into the stadium for almost $70 a ticket, that's insane, even for a regular season 49er game at home. So, you know, hopefully we got a bunch of fans that got lucky, got tickets last minute, and are going to show up to the game. And, you know, get loud out there if you are at the game. You know, one thing to note, the Seahawks get back safety Ryan Neal, their starting safety, who's been playing great this year. But he hasn't played in a couple weeks, so he might be a little rusty. So you might look to attack him, you know, see how he's feeling early on in this game.
Yeah, definitely. Paul Gators says, right out in Levi Stadium. Time is now, Niner Nation. Yep. There's any game to pack up in that stadium, it's this game for sure. You know, with the weather and everything the way it's going, all the help we can get, we'll take it. So let's pack out that stadium.
And you can't forget, we don't like these guys. We got payback to do on them.
Yeah, definitely. Last time these two teams played in the playoffs, and of course, was that legendary Richard Sherman moment, you know, tip pass covering Michael Crabtree, corner of the end zone, interception, you know, knocked the Niners out. I believe that was the NFC Championship, right?
Yeah.
NFC Championship game, knocks the Niners out, 1 game away from the Super Bowl. You know, I think they're down like 5 points in that game with about 20 seconds or so left, and interception. So, you know, hopefully we can get some revenge on these guys right now. I know we've won in the regular season and stuff, but the regular season doesn't matter at this point. Whole new season. You know, it's kind of like last year. Kyle Shanahan said, once you get to the playoffs, it's a whole new season, whole new tournament. You just want to get to the tournament, and then from there, do your thing. You know, and, the Seahawks kind of in the same position as we are. You know, they barely made it in at the last game. It wasn't even in their hands really to get in, but they made it. So, you know, they have nothing to lose, just like the Niners did last year. So this isn't a team to sleep on. I know a lot of fans are thinking it's going to be a boat race, but, you know, I think this game's going to be a little bit closer than we would expect, especially with the weather being the way it is.
Yep. Our mom hopped on real fast and said, rain comes and goes. It's not that bad at all right now. Hopefully it stays that way through kickoff. You know, you get a couple quarters in at least. of good weather before the downpour begins.
You know, the one thing I was thinking too is we still have that taste from that championship game last year in our mouth. And a lot of players were talking about that feeling when they got sent home from LA. So, you know, that right here, I don't think the players are going to overlook this game. I think we're going to get a solid game out of our guys.
Yeah, so the stadium looks to be filling out a little bit more out there. And like we mentioned earlier in the video, we have more people in here now. 49ers only running 3 running backs today. So you got Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, and Jordan Mason active. And you know what that tells me is we're going to see Deebo Samuel getting active and getting a whole lot more reps today, whether that be running the ball or catching the ball on short passes. And that was one of our keys to the game. You got to get Deebo Samuel in playoff mode, and it's looking like it's going to be a big touch day for him. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like we said, we got to get him moving. If you can get him moving, that's a whole another element to this offense that a team has to stop. Add on to that Christian McCaffrey, add on to that Eli Mitchell. You know what I mean? Like, that's a 3 dimensions of a run game that you have to stop, and it's all different dimensions too. You have Deebo, who can turn that edge real quick, get on the outside and kind of make a play. You have Christian McCaffrey, who can do it all. Then you have Eli Mitchell, who's kind of been running between the tackles. A little bit more of a speed guy. So if you can get all 3 of them moving, that's a lot that you're gonna have to stop on the ground for sure.
And Deebo's out here running pretty good. He looks good out here. No limps or nothing. Hands look good. Full speed. He's looking good right now in warm-up.
Yeah, and that takes us to our bully of the week prediction for this game. I've been having a little bit of a tough time picking who my bully of the week is going to be. So I'll go first just because I want to give my 2 honorable mentions. Obviously, everyone should pick Dre Greenlaw for bully of the week because he is the Seahawk killer. He makes the huge plays against the Seahawks, right? So that was the obvious one. I was like, that's who I should pick for bully of the week. My second one was going to be Deebo Samuel because, like I said, I think this is going to be a huge Deebo Samuel game. They're going to get him active early, get him a lot of touches. But I am going to go with Brock Purdy for bully of the week for the first time this season because, when you're playing in a rain game, your quarterback isn't going to make many throws, but when they do throw, it has to be perfect and they have to be gritty and they have to take hits and still get the ball off accurately in the rain. So if the 49ers are going to win this game, it's going to be on the back of a couple great Brock Purdy throws in critical situations, and that earns him my bully of the week.
I'm going to let you guys go. They're getting ready. 30 minutes to game time.
All right. We appreciate you jumping on.
Peace. Let's get this done. Blue ball.
Yeah. So I'll say for my bully of the week, I talked about it yesterday a little bit, but it's going to be Dre Greenlaw. Like Joseph said, the Seahawk killer makes huge plays against the Seahawks all the time. He didn't play last week, so he's going to be fresh. I think he's going to have a great impact, especially with the weather being the way it is. Seahawks are going to be trying to run the ball, and I think Dre Greenlaw is going to be on Kenneth Walker's behind, to say the least.
Yeah, and that's a key to the game. You got to stop that run if you're going to win this game. So Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, and the interior D linemen need to have a great, great game today.
Yep. Javon Kinlaw cannot be getting pushed around like he was last week. If anything, just hold that line, eat up those double teams, don't allow him to get to the backers. If you do that, Niners going to be off pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. And our mom on here says She has George Kittle as her bully of the week.
Yeah, definitely possible. With the way Brock Purdy and George Kittle have been playing together, it's definitely possible that George Kittle gets a bully of the week this week.
But what? Go ahead.
Did you see the report by, I think it was Ian Rappaport earlier that said, he kind of threw Tom Brady's name back in the conversation about who can be the quarterback for next year for the 49ers. What are your thoughts on that?
Hold on, I lost my audio. One second.
While Joseph fixes his
Say
audio,
something.
can you hear me? Joseph looks like he's having some trouble with his audio. In the meantime,
Hold on, I'll be back in a second.
all right, I'm going to go over the weather report for the game, the duration of the game. Our parents are out there right now. They said it's not raining too hard. It's kind of rain that comes and goes. So that's good for right now. As of now, at 1 o'clock, it's saying there's a 70% chance of rain. At 2, 50%, 3, 50, 4, 50. So looks like at least at the kickoff, it's going to be raining a little bit. Then pretty much throughout the game, it's a 50-50 chance. Right now, it's saying that the rain is expected to stop in 40 minutes. So that looks to be right after kickoff, about 10 minutes after kickoff. So good news for both teams.
Yeah, you definitely don't want the rain in this game to affect the outcome because you want to see both teams playing at their, highest ability level. And to answer your question, I did hear it. Wait, what was it? One more time.
Ian Rappaport put out a tweet earlier saying that Tom Brady is pretty much going to be in the conversation for starting quarterback for the 49ers next year. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah, I did see that. It's funny that came out like an hour before the 49ers game is about to kick off, first playoff game. And the Tampa Bay Bucks still have playoffs to play too. So it's funny to hear. Obviously, every team's going to think about Tom Brady as their quarterback, a potential quarterback for next year. I just don't know if I could see the 49ers doing it. They passed on him a couple years ago, and now he's older, not playing as well. I don't see it. Maybe if we see something crazy happen, like the 49ers trade Trey Lance to the Colts for the 4th overall pick, then maybe the door opens. But that's off-season talk, and I still don't think it happens anyways. But what about you?
Yeah, I don't think so either. It seems like kind of a reach, just to put it out before game day and before all the teams play. It just seems like a reach of a tweet. Something, I'm not too interested in talking about. Like you said, that's off-season talk. But I just thought it was interesting just to bring it up. Let's see here. We have Tommy Cates saying, bang, bang, let's go. Yes, sir. Let's go. Need the fans to turn up in the stadium right now. It's a big game. Got to turn up. And then Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver 1. Yep, definitely. The way he's been playing, definitely wide receiver 1. And he needs to play like that for the rest of the postseason as well.
We're getting a report now from Jay Glazer saying if Jimmy Garoppolo is able to return during playoffs, 49ers would use him as backup to Brock Purdy, which is what we all expect. But funny that they put out a report on that right now.
Mm-hmm. It looks like the 49ers just took the field right now. So that's good. Looks like the guys are ready. Brock Purdy and Deebo Samuel let him out of the tunnel. So it's cool to see.
And it looks like Jerry Rice was on the field with the 49ers wide receivers while while they were warming up. So you love to see the GOAT out there, getting these 49ers receivers ready for the game. Love to see
good to-
Jerry Rice around the
Yeah.
team.
It's good to see that like a player of Jerry Rice's caliber, seeing how much he's engaged still with the 49ers, this many years retired, Hall of Fame. So you don't really see Joe Montana, at too many of these games at all, unless it's like a special event. Steve Young, you don't really see too much, but Jerry Rice, you almost see it like every game. So it's really cool to see how engaged Jerry Rice is still with this team.
All right, here's your team taking the field.
It's crazy too. This is Christian McCaffrey's only his second playoff game. I think 2018, I believe it was. He made it with the Panthers once, but they got knocked out. So, I'm sure he's definitely excited. And I was thinking about it too. There is a lot of players on this team with a lot of playoff experience, and we're still pretty young. Eli Mitchell, I just saw him right there, made it to the NFC Championship last year. Brandon Ayuk, Debo's made it to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship. George Kittle, Fred Warner, same with those guys, Jimmy Ward. So we do have a lot of playoff experience from the guys on both sides of the ball, which is great because, you can help prepare some of those younger dudes like the Brock Purdy's, JP Masons, some of those younger guys that don't have that much experience with the playoffs at all. You can kind of help shed some light on what it's going to be like a little bit.
Yeah, and kind of interesting, not all hyped up this week, the 49ers exiting the tunnel. Usually they got the boombox guy, everyone's hype. Looks like the 49ers are locked in and ready to play this week, no BS, take care of business. They have the leader, Debo Samuel, who carried the 49ers through the playoffs last year on his back, leading the team out. And you have the young man, last pick in the draft, up there with them. You love to see it, the leadership from the young guy being up there. Team looks locked in. They ain't playing any games today with anybody.
Let's see. Tommy Cates says, for real, they look concentrated. Yeah, they look locked in. He also says, time to get these Hawks flying back home. Let's go. Out the tunnel. Yep. And then our dad says, Greenlaw's out here moving good. It's great to see. It's going to be a huge part of this game and matchup, in my opinion. So good to see Drake Greenlaw out there flying around. Also,
Yeah.
if you guys are watching this right now, sorry to interrupt you. We're going to be trying to do a halftime live to kind of talk about the first half of the game. We'd love for you guys to jump back on and talk with us a little bit about what are your thoughts on it. It'll probably be short, 5-10 minutes, so we're not missing any part of the game, but tune in for that as we'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, so definitely join us for that halftime live. We'll bring you guys on if you want to hop on and say your thoughts. Maybe you got a rant to give, or maybe the team's playing great and you just want to say, hey, they're killing it out there, whatever. We're going to be on here so you guys could talk. Here we got our guy Chavarius Ward, who's going to be covering DK Metcalf most of the game today, and he also appears to be 100% locked in.
Yeah, we're going to need it. You're going to need him locked in. It's a big DK Metcalf's great receiver, has a dynamic skill set, speed, size, something that you don't see in a lot of receivers. But I think Mooney Ward matches up very well against him, and he's shown that in previous matchups with DK Metcalf. So definitely going to be a fun matchup to watch throughout the game today.
Yeah, and if you're in here, drop a score prediction for the game for us. Let us know what you think the final score of this game is going to be. We'll get to ours right before the game starts, but I wanted to ask you, what is the one thing in this game that worries you? Whether that be a person, the weather, in a side of the ball, whatever?
I think it goes without saying that the weather is just a little bit concerning, just because the rain always affects the level of football that's being played on both sides of the ball. Good thing is it's not like the Niners are only playing in the rain. The Seahawks and the Niners are both playing in this weather, so both teams are going to be playing with the wet football, which is good, but who knows how much it affects the game plan. Um, One thing, I guess the biggest thing that worries me is Deommodore Lenoir. I think teams are going to be taking shots at him, but same thing with the ball being wet, it raining. Who knows how much the Seahawks are actually going to be throwing the ball deep on him. So that might negate it a little bit, which is good for the Niners. But those two things definitely worry me going into this matchup. What about you?
Yeah. And real quick, we got Tommy Cates will be here during half. Love to see it. We appreciate you. He also says, only thing worries me is it being wet. Yeah, it's a big concern because we've seen the 49ers play in the bad weather, not even just this year. Back when they played the Commanders, I think they were the Redskins at that point, in the rain, and they were a terrible team, like one of the worst teams in the NFL. And the 49ers were a Super Bowl team that year, and it was down to the wire, and it's just because of the weather. So it can make a huge difference. Our mom, who's at the game, says the weather, the wet ball, is what worries her the most. We got our dad here, 27-17 Niners. Paul, 14-7 Niners. Hey, that's a slugfest right there, a defensive battle. Our Niners already prove what we're capable of. I was a little worried about Purdy at first, but he already proved himself. Yeah, so Purdy, man, he's been playing great. Um, first time we're seeing him play a team twice in a season, and it's his first playoff game. But like you said on our last podcast, he's been playing a lot of firsts lately, and he stood up to the challenge. So you don't see that changing today, even with the weather?
Not really. I think he's just very poised. He has a great supporting cast around him that can alleviate some of that pressure and some of those hardships. So, not too worried about him, to be honest with you. I think we got a good one here. Obviously, he's going to have his struggles every now and again. Not saying everything's going to be perfect, but I think he'll do enough to get the job done for sure.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think we see from Brock Purdy today? What's your stat line prediction for him?
Ugh. I don't think we see the 2 touchdowns, that he's been getting in the last like 6 games. I think you maybe see 1 touchdown, but I think we get a couple more of those touchdowns on the ground game. I think we get a couple of those on the ground. Um, Maybe I'll say probably an interception too, just just given the weather and everything, and their defensive line seems to get pressure on us every now and again too. So probably say an interception, touchdown, probably up around 200 yards passing or so as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say pretty close to that. I'm thinking about like 180 yards passing, one touchdown, and no interceptions. I think he takes really good care of the ball today, because that's how you win these games in the rain like this. So, not a huge day for him, but enough to get you the win in the bad weather is what I'm expecting. Um, who do you think's going to have the huge game for the 49ers today?
I'm gonna say Elijah Mitchell. Like we've been saying this whole time. We're beating a drum right here, but the weather is gonna be a factor. So you're gonna have to get the run game going early. I think Elijah Mitchell with his running style, getting downhill fast, hitting those holes hard, not going down on first contact. I think he's going to be huge. I think he's going to have a huge game. Probably see a little bit more involvement than what we've seen in the past too. So I think Eli Mitchell's going to have a huge game on offense.
Yeah, and I really do think they're going to go all out to stop Christian McCaffrey, because you watch 49er film this past 10 weeks, that's the person you want to take away, right? Because he's been doing pretty much everything. You get in the red zone, you probably want to take away George Kittle because he's
Yep.
been that red zone monster these past couple of weeks. So my guy that I think is going to go off this week has got to be Debo Samuel. I said I think the workload's going to go way up this week. They kind of conserved him last week, didn't do much with him. Um, they're going to bait you with George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey, and then Debo Samuel's going to make you pay.
Yep. Definitely possible for sure. That was one of our keys to the victory, so it's definitely a possibility. Looks like Peyton Manning's out there at the game talking with Debo Samuel. Debo and his baby, like you said, Jerry Rice is out there as well. Love to see that. So, got some legends, got some GOATs out there at this game for the inaugural playoff game of the 2022-2023 season. So, let's go. A lot of eyes.
Yeah, and for the gamers in here, Dr. Disrespect is on the field right now for the 49ers pregame warm-up. The 49ers love that guy. Here's your 49ers inactives again in case you missed it earlier. Jimmy Garoppolo, Ambry Thomas, Ty Davis-Price, Drake Jackson, Ross Dwelly, Nick Zakel, and running back Tevin Coleman. So those are your inactives for the San Francisco 49ers.
Also, for everybody that's just tuning in now, we do a segment called Bully of the Week. It's a player that changes the game with his physicality, his physical style of play. Doesn't necessarily have to be the MVP of the game, but can be if you want it to. So mine was Dre Greenlaw. Joseph's, go ahead and tell us who your was.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy. I think our mom's was George Kittle. Our dad's was Debo. So if you guys drop in the comments who you guys think your bully of the week is going to be for this one. I'm curious to see what your guys' thoughts are.
Yeah, because it really is a crapshoot with the 49ers on who's going to be the best player that week or the bully of the week because when you just go up and down the roster, man, it's loaded at every position. The 49ers had 6 all-pros this year, and they had people that should have been all-pros that weren't. So there's talent everywhere on this team. Pretty much every positional group has a star player in it. And, it's insane to see the talent level on this team.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Tommy Cates here. He says, I don't tune in every game, but when I do, I enjoy your time and appreciate you guys being online every game. Some people don't know how much it takes to do this every game, so thank you both. Thank you, Tommy. We appreciate it. Thank you for being so engaged throughout this stream, too. We do it for you guys. We're just other 49er fans, we're not football experts. We're just 49er fans that just like to talk football just like the rest of us. So thank you for tuning in and showing some love.
And then, Tommy went on to say, since I got Warner's jersey on today, I'm going to say Fred is going off today. Perfect day for a peanut punch. A Fred peanut punch, knock that ball out, get a fumble, create some momentum for the 49ers on defense. Our dad tuned in to say stadium's getting packed. You love to see it. And I just wanted to throw this up on the screen. I created this earlier in the week just to show the difference in talent level from the 49ers Super Bowl season run to now this season for their playoff run. So obviously in 2019, you had Jimmy Garoppolo, Emmanuel Sanders, Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert, Matt Breida, and then you had Juice, Debo, Kittle, and Kendrick Bourne. Those were your key offensive players. This year, you got Jawan Jennings, Ray McLeod, Jordan Mason, Kyle Juszczyk, Elijah Mitchell, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Brock Purdy, and Debo Samuel. So it's just loaded. Even your guys that are kind of rotational people would probably start on other teams. So, the level of weapons is just insane on this offense, and you expect them to put up high points per game every week now with Brock Purdy at QB, which is kind of interesting to say.
Yeah, definitely. Loaded, extremely loaded. Yeah, go check this out on our Twitter at SF Bullyball. Also, we put out some shorts on our YouTube channel right before this, so go check those out. Some players warming up, how the field's looking before the game. Go check those out for us. Tommy with another prediction here says defense is going to get a touchdown today. Calling it now. Let's hope so. Definitely use it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe. I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah. And last time the 49ers played the Seahawks, Diamador Lenore actually did have a pick six on DK Metcalf, or it was either DK Metcalf or Marquise Goodwin. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, but it was called back on a BS roughing the passer call. So if they could get that pick six today, that would be great, especially with this weather. An amazing talent right now. I don't think ever seen this much talent in my era. Yeah, it's insane. We had those crazy 49er teams with Jim Harbaugh as the head coach. You had tons of talent on the defensive side of the ball, but the offensive side was kind of lacking back then. You had Michael Crabtree, Frank Gore, Vernon Davis, but then other than that, you had Anquan Bolden for a couple years, but other than those guys, it's kind of iffy. And then now it's just insane. You got a damn Pro Bowl roster on your offense. Off topic, but did you guys hear about Nick Bosa? What about Nick Bosa? I haven't heard anything out of the ordinary. Have you heard anything about Nick Bosa? Oh, his sack celebration, doing the Joker thing. I know what he does, but I didn't hear anything about it.
What's the Joker thing? Or the
His
little
thing,
shrug? Oh, the shrug.
yeah, the shrug.
Oh, is that the Joker thing? Is that the Joker?
I think so. I don't
Oh,
know.
I didn't even know that that's what that was about.
He did a gender reveal. I have no idea, if I'm being honest with you. I didn't hear about it at all. But our mom just commented and said the rain is coming down now. We have 15 minutes to kick off. And she said the rain is now pouring. So, that's unfortunate. You got to get a hot start to the game. I'm thinking maybe you take the ball to start, even if you win the toss. While there's the least amount of rain on the field as possible and on the ball, maybe you take the ball and try to get a quick score before the rain keeps pouring down. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think there's any chance we do that because Shanahan likes to defer if we win the coin toss, but definitely makes sense. If in a weather like this, you want to be playing from ahead. You don't want to be playing from behind. On my weather app, it's saying that the rain is expected to stop in 23 minutes, so a little bit after kickoff. So hopefully that remains true.
Yeah, you definitely don't want it to be raining at kickoff. And it looks like Tommy said on that sack, he didn't do a normal shrug. He did a flex on camera. I saw when he got the sack in the Cardinal game, but I didn't see the different thing he did. And then he said nobody knew except his best friend. He was either going to skip if it was a girl and flex if it was a boy. So Bosa's friend is having a son, so he did the celebration for him. You love to see it. You love to see it. Look at this 49er fan we got here at the game, pregame, riding up on his
Couch.
his buggy.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
telling you, man, 49ers, some of the best fans in the nation by far.
Let's see this real quick. Or I don't think we can hear it actually. Fred Warner gave his pregame speech as usual, so I'm sure it was a good one. He always gets the guys hyped.
Brock Purdy over here dapping up the ref before the game.
So I guess since we're kind of wrapping it up here, you want to go ahead and give your score prediction?
Yeah, so my score prediction for this game, I am going to say, it's hard because the 49ers score so many points with Brock Purdy. I got to say 27-13 49ers.
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one. I'm going to say, it seems like kind of a common one. I'm going to say 27-10 49ers.
Yeah,
I think the
I really
Seahawks probably
don't
get an
think.
early. I think the Seahawks get an early touchdown, and then maybe another field goal later on. But that's not going to be my prediction.
I agree. I think they probably get that early touchdown, and then the 49ers start locking it up after that, like they usually do.
This is a pretty cool tweet, too, before we get out of here, by Matt Barrows. He says, Jim Harbaugh said before the 2012 NFC Championship game, Admiral Bull Halsey once said, if you're going to fight in the North Atlantic, then you've got to prepare in the North Atlantic. It's raining pretty hard right now. The 49ers practice in similar weather on Wednesday. So it does seem like the rain's coming down. The Niners did practice in this all week for the most part. So good. That's good, at least. Would you like to see?
Yeah, you love that they've been in it during the week because you don't want the first time being in the weather being on game day because that's where you'll get shocked. So hopefully they're prepared. Quarterback Trey Lance posted on his Instagram earlier today a picture of Brock Purdy with a crown on his head. So, you love to see the young teammate supporting the other teammate in his role right now. You have anything about that? Anything to touch on about that?
I mean, you just love to see the support from Trey Lance. It's cool to see.
Yeah, and I think that's about all we got for you guys because we want to, get set up, get our beers, get ready for the game. So we appreciate you for tuning in to our pregame primer. And like we said, if you're here now, we will be back on at halftime. We have another live stream set up. So right at the beginning of halftime, we're going to hop back on and we're going to talk about what happened in the first half, what we need to see in the second half, and how the 49ers can finish up the game and get the win. So tune into that.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Let's hope for health. Let's hope for a good game. And then we'll chop it up at halftime with everybody. Appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yep. Peace.
Peace.